I lost all that.
Yeah, man.
Because
That's
of RSD.
such a bummer.
You'll have to fight for it. Prepare for battle.
Welcome to the show here. Let's start with your introduction, your name, and let's hear your story.
Well, my name's Alan Thomas, and I have RSD. You know, that's probably a given because of where I am right now.
Right.
Um,
Joining the club.
yeah.
Well,
and-
you've been in it.
Yeah. So, like what I'm doing right now is I'm retired medically because of RSD, and I do my own video channel or YouTube channel.
I'll post the link too down below. So.
Yeah, I call it's the Squatch Zone. So anybody wants to go and listen to some crazy shit, you know, crazy stuff.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
And I do everything paranormal though. I don't just look for Bigfoots. I do. That's my main focus though, is going after Bigfoot.
Right.
But I've been doing this online and for 10 years. And I started was, I got hurt and I didn't know what I was going to do with myself for a while, and all I did was focus on what I can't do.
Right.
So I was like sitting around feeling sorry for myself.
Bumming out, man.
Yeah, and the only way I could escape it is I would play video games online, MMORPGs, and
Yeah.
I would escape into another reality where you could run, jump, and do all kinds of stuff and not have pain, I
did the same thing, man. It's crazy because it becomes your other life, and I told my wife the same thing. I'd put on my headphones, get in front of the TV, and I would just disappear.
Yeah.
And I became addicted. I'm sure you did too, where it was like any free time, which was a lot, was like on the game.
Well, it also, what I found with when you're in a lot of pain all the time, and I mean all the time, like 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
Sometimes the best pain in taking the pain away is distraction.
Yeah.
100%. So if you could like focus on something else and get your mind focused and busy doing that,
yeah,
you'll still have the pain in the background. It'll be there and bugging you a little bit, but
right.
But it isn't like if you're not doing anything. That's like for me, when the lights go out and you're laying in bed and there's nothing going on, that's when I'm in the most pain. I'm just laying there going, dang, and I start playing these little golf games on my phone and stuff like that just to distract myself.
That is such a great point. It really is, because when you think about it and you focus on it, that's when it gets the worst. And put your mind somewhere else. Just stay busy. That's what I try to do. But it's so hard for us to stay busy too because of the pain.
Yeah.
And I'm always so tired. So I don't have the energy to sometimes distract myself. But it's the best thing you could do, probably, aside from pain meds and things like that. Distraction. I like that. Good one, man.
Me too, though. I have that. I have a whole bag of tricks. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like I call it cocktails.
Yeah, it is. They make a whole cocktail for us of drugs and.
Yeah, I take like 15 of different things, but I have heart problems.
So you got a lot going on. I want to hear about your because I watched your story, and I hope all you viewers out there too go and watch his story, because you'll get some of it here, but you can hear his whole story on his channel.
Yeah.
The when you went in for the angiogram, is that right? Why don't you tell us about that and how your RSD actually, how you got it?
Yeah, well, at the time I was an executive at a casino, and that was my career. I was the marketing director / food and beverage director / network administrator, which is like the director over the computers.
Okay.
And I had all three. I was holding all three jobs at the same time.
Busy man.
I had like 300 employees.
Oh wow.
I had three secretaries, one for each position.
Man.
office or whatever you call it, you know.
You're right. Yeah.
And I'm like this weird guy, or all my life I was weird. I could read 1,250 words a minute, and I had like a photographic memory.
Man.
So my
So
secretaries didn't have anything to do because I
you're
could
just doing it all.
I can remember everybody's phone number, my whole
Oh my
calendars,
gosh.
each meetings, everything. Like it was all up here, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have nothing to do, you know, and they would feel bad because they were like on playing solitaire on the computer, and I would walk in and and I told them, you know what, just be thankful I'm your boss, because I already know that you don't have to keep my calendar and be reminding me and all that. Just answer the phone and take the messages and stuff like that. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
And take your breaks when you're supposed to, you know, and go ahead and play solitaire. I don't care. There's no cameras. Like in a casino, there's cameras everywhere,
Everywhere.
except not in your office.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there'd be one in
I'm
the hallway,
surprised.
you know.
I'm surprised because casino owners seem to be kind of paranoid over everyone.
Well, they are, and mostly over employees, but like yeah. So I'm like riding around. I mean, I think I'm coming from town, from a meeting at a TV station on advertising.
Okay.
You know what advertising we're going to run on for the rest of the year on that station, or I think it was TV station and 5 radio stations. And I meet them all at one time, and they hated it. They want to meet me separate, and then charging me out the wazoo, you know. And I would meet them all at one restaurant, and they would realize there's a competition. And then I would tell them, hey, sharpen your pencils, because whoever gives me the best deal is going to get the deal.
Yeah.
And they hated that because I would pit them right
Right in front of each other.
Yeah. And they all want to do their own little
It's
thing.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it was, hey, I got the best deals all the
I
time.
bet. Yeah.
I nobody could beat me in casinos on deals, because I could get a deal, but they didn't. This is the first time I ever said that publicly too. So
It's
if
all good,
anybody's
'cause you're
in
not-
marketing in casinos, they're just got a good tip.
Yeah.
But I was on my way out of one of those meetings, and it was hectic. I have 6 kids, 3 foster kids, 3 of my own kids, all kinds of stuff going on, you know, and my heart started feeling all weird. And my dad had passed away in 1986, and I always was worried about that. So I was working out all the time.
He
And
passed away from a heart attack, or
yeah,
yeah.
he had a triple, and his first heart attack was at age 34.
Oh man.
At triple
Wow.
bypass. And then
That's
at
scary.
48, they had to redo it. So he did another triple bypass, and he told me, you know, he didn't want to live. So he died he passed away 2 days after that.
Oh man.
So I always had that on the back of my mind. This could be hereditary. You know.
Yeah.
So I changed my life so that I didn't have that, right?
Right.
And so and I'm cruising down the road heading towards the casino, and it was just anxiety, but I didn't know that. I thought something was wrong, you know.
Right. Right. Anxiety can feel like you're having a heart attack. When you have that panic attack feeling, like, it's scary.
It was scary.
I've had one, and it's scary when you have those.
RSD causes me to have them still.
Yeah.
And worse now than even before, than that one. I mean, almost like if for any no reason, all of a sudden you're just freaking out and you don't even know why. I mean, your body's freaking out, your mind's not.
Right.
You're sweating and.
Well, then your mind starts to freak out after that, because then you're like, what's going on with me?
Right. But it'll start without you.
Yeah.
Usually like a panic or anxiety, you're already anxious in your brain.
Your heart starts going, though. And...
Yeah. So I call up my doctor, and he's like, because of your history of heart, your family history, you need to just go straight into the ER.
Okay.
And I went in there, and they did it. They're like, oh, and they saw when my doctor called ahead and told them I was coming and all that stuff and what was going on. And they're like, we have to do an angiogram, because that's the only way to really tell if you have heart disease or not. Really.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm like, cool. And they said we're gonna put you in a room, keep you overnight, and then early in the morning we'll do the angiogram. Then you could go home.
Okay.
We just want to observe you at night when we do the EKGs, all that stuff.
Right.
So, in the morning they roll me in, and probably like 7:00 in the morning, do the angiogram, and I'm totally knocked out. When I wake up, I'm in ICU, and I'm like, what the heck,
Yeah.
I've been in ICU because that's where my dad was a lot of times, right?
Right.
With his heart. So I know exactly what that place is.
ICU, you're there for a reason, and it's not a good one usually.
Not good, yeah. And I asked them what's going on in there. They said, well, there was no beds. And now, because I was an executive in a casino and I had the best insurance, that could play into it a little bit. Because they knew they could make more money
Get
off
money, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was either something's really bad wrong with me, or they're milking my insurance.
Giving you the good treatment, yeah.
Yeah, like 5-star hotel kind of.
Right.
And when I got in there, they said there was no rooms available, and that's the only bed they had. And I'm like, bull crap, you'll park me in the freaking hallway. I mean, most people get
I've done it.
In the hallway. I have been too.
Yeah.
Sit there for hours in the hallway,
In the way.
In a gurney too, like on a bed or whatever, in the hallway.
And I've seen
other
others
people in the hallway with me.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
They'll put you in a closet before they put you in ICU.
Right. That's real expensive, the ICU.
Well,
but,
and oh, go ahead.
Well, that's when they started like measuring the pulse in my feet.
Okay.
And taking blood pressure on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they would have every 20 minutes, 2 different nurses, would come in. I never saw this. I bet I saw every nurse in the hospital, really.
Wow.
I don't know if they were practicing on me. I don't know. But every 20 minutes or so, these 2 nurses would come in, male, female, it didn't matter.
Right.
And every time they came in, I would start asking questions like, what's wrong? They're like, oh, doctor just wants to observe you, I go, in the ICU?
Yeah.
And after a little while, I'm like, I'm hungry. And you still haven't told me what's wrong with me.
Right.
In here. And I really started to become a bad patient. My patients were running out, and I was letting them have it.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, it's like, what's up? And feed me.
Yeah, well, so 11:30 p.m. rolls around. I'm still hungry.
They haven't fed you yet?
No. And finally, I'm
That's
really
worse than jail.
Yeah, I was really starting to get verbal, and my language is getting a little colorful, and I wasn't being really nice at all. And it was like, let me go, give me something to either give me something to eat and tell me what's wrong with me, or let me go.
Right.
So finally they let me go. And they said, we'll see you in 15 years. Your heart was great. That's what they told me. It's like, great. So the next morning I went to work, but only I was noticing my leg was burning and hurting, aching. And about the 3rd day, I went in and told the general manager, I got to go home. I can't stay, man. My leg is killing me. And it isn't. And he's like, man, that's not like you. I mean, they let me because it wasn't like me. I never called him sick ever. I mean, they have to tell me to go home, right?
Right.
So it was weird that they thought it was really weird that I was wanting to go home.
Yeah, they knew it was something serious.
Yeah. So did I, really. And I got home, and then I was rolling around on the floor in pain, and I told my wife, call the doctor up, the one that did the angiogram.
Uh-huh.
And tell him,
What, because I'm not familiar with this, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there. What is an angiogram exactly? What do they do?
They do an incision where your leg bends.
In the back of the knee, kind of?
No, I'm on your groin.
Oh, okay.
Right in the bend, okay? Because that's where the femoral artery runs down to feed the leg.
Right.
And also all your nerves and everything run along the femur.
Right, where you feel the like tendons and all that in your groin right there. Yeah.
Like if you bend your leg and stick your fingers in the bend, you can feel right there. You could actually even feel your heartbeat.
Yeah, you could feel it heavy right there because it's a thick artery.
Right. And what they do is they do an incision, probably only like that big, and they incise right into the artery, and then they run a catheter with a camera up into your heart.
Whoa.
Because the artery gets bigger as it goes up.
Wow.
Smaller as it goes down. And that's what they did.
Wow, okay.
After the doctor said, don't be a baby, it's gonna hurt. So I'm not a crybaby,
Yeah.
I chilled for about 3 more days, but it was getting worse and worse. My leg was white as a piece of paper, like a typing paper. It was white. And my
man.
And I was being stupid too. I'm rolling around on the floor, so much pain that the only place, the bed, I was keeping her awake and stuff. So I wound up laying on the floor and putting my foot up on a couch. And I thought I should raise my foot, right? I don't know why. It was stupid because
that's just like
they had blocked the artery.
Right.
So there's no blood going to it. And then I have my leg up draining whatever was in there out, right?
Right.
So no oxygen. So everything's dying. And that's what the pain was.
Right. Your leg was just dying off.
Yeah. And come to find out, they had used this thing called a collagen plug. And what the deal was is when they do an angiogram in that main artery that comes straight from your heart, they have to hold pressure on it for 50 minutes usually after the
50, like 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that until it clots.
Right.
Then you still can't bend or anything, like for a while. So you have to be careful for a couple days. So it
doesn't bust open.
Yeah, and you'll bleed out before.
Dude, that's scary.
Yeah, it is. So they had this new technology, this collagen plug, that they could put into the incision, and it was supposed to rest right on top of the artery, and then it would melt over it in 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then they could do more angiograms and get people out, right?
Okay.
So they make more money.
Okay.
So the whole idea was get people in and out of there.
Streamlining it.
Yeah, no more 50 minutes, now only 15 minutes.
Right.
But it was new, so they didn't really know what they were doing. So the guy still did the 50 minutes. So he pushed holding really hard pressure, and he pushed the collagen plug into the artery.
Oh, man.
And then it melted and turned into a clot.
Dude.
And blocked the artery. Yeah, so then when I figured that out, or when they figured that out,
right,
they immediately took me in surgery, and they're like, you know what, when you wake up, you might not have a leg, and I mean that's the worst words you could hear.
Totally,
somebody
man.
That's an active person like me.
I mean, no fault of your own.
Yeah, and you didn't have nothing, and then in California you can't sue. So after I got out of the surgery, I died twice on the table. I went somewhere. I mean, that's a whole nother show probably, but I had some fun over there. But only I realized dying doesn't hurt really. It hurts all the way up until you die. Then after you die, it don't hurt.
Right.
But, then I my leg was never the same. It hurt bad, real bad. It was like it never healed.
Man.
I mean,
and that was after the surgery where you woke up and your leg was still there. Your leg was still there, thankfully, right?
Yeah, it was still there, and I was all happy about it.
But
I couldn't. They said I couldn't bend at all, and I couldn't stand up or anything because I could bust it open. The
artery
surgery. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to be flat on my back. So they just kept me knocked out for a few days.
Man.
Almost like a coma type thing. But so I was all knocked out, and finally when I went home, the doctor told me that he diced up my nerve. When he diced the clot up, the femoral nerve is right next to the femoral artery.
Right.
So he diced up the clot to get it out, and he was using a suction thing to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, because he couldn't help it, he diced up the femoral nerve.
Oh man.
And
yeah, I think the word he nicked it.
It was more than nicking. He said diced.
Oh, he did say dice. Okay.
Yeah, he said diced. Yeah,
Okay.
like he diced up my nerve. Not,
Right.
but he was said it like even a nick. He did use that term, but he said even a nick would take a year to heal.
Oh, because I did hear you say something about a nick in your
Yeah,
video, so that's what I was confusing. Okay.
yeah. So like,
Even a
if
nick would take a year to heal.
yeah, it takes that.
Wow.
Like nerves grow really slow.
Yeah, it's a long.
If they nick it, it would be like a long time before you know what's permanent damage or not. And he told
Right.
me like 1.5, 2 years before I would know exactly how much pain I'm always going to be in.
Oh my gosh, man.
And then I never did. Even though like uh, a year, 2 years later, a fan blowing on the leg will set it. It'll feel like it's in a barbecue.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe to people the pain, and then the actual incision, it feels like it's an open wound still.
Yeah.
It's all messed up. I mean, really messed up. It sucks so bad. Like air conditioning, and you're freaking hot. And you go to blow the air. I'm covering up one leg.
Right.
Try
Yep.
to
Yep.
keep anything from blowing on it or anything.
Yeah, man.
Staying on it
It's
too long. I
just
mean,
even the bed sheets.
yeah.
You know,
That took a long time. After a while, you get used to stuff like that.
you have to.
If you force yourself, like wearing socks and shoes on it.
Hmm.
I mean, it took a long time before I could wear a sock and shoe, but I
Yeah.
would put it on and make myself
Same with me.
wear it.
And you know what I found? Nowadays, I prefer wearing socks and shoes because that support and gripping around it, the compression, I guess you'd say, really helps me, I think. But at night, I have to take it off when I'm in bed because the sock all of a sudden feels like it's suffocating my foot and my leg. So it's weird. Like during the day I want it on, but at night I have to take it off. But I'm okay with the sheets now. In the
Me too.
beginning,
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was always my leg was outside.
Sometimes, like in the winter, you put extra blankets and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it'll make it feel like I rubbed my leg with sandpaper. My skin will get all
Yeah.
real tender, like it's been scraped real bad, but
It'll even turn red, huh?
Yeah, and you'll be looking at it and it's fine. There's no scrapes or anything, and it'll feel like it's raw though.
Yeah.
Just from that little extra blanket that you threw on there,
Crazy.
warm. And
Crazy.
I mean, sometimes my pants do that too. Like if I get a new pair of pants, and
Yeah.
a little bit rugged still, and man, it'll take me a long time to break in a shoe or new
Yeah.
pants and stuff like that on that one leg.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop working, really. I wanted to stay working, but they put me in a wheelchair. They actually gave me a wheelchair and told me I'm gonna never get out of it.
Oh, jeez. That's
And
horrible. That's horrible to tell someone, horrible to hear.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I got out of that chair as fast as I could.
Me too.
And I had the doctor tell me that if you stay in it too long, you won't be able to get out of it because your muscles will atrophy and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had 3 years went by and the statute of limitations ran out because no doctor would see me because the medical field hurt me.
Right.
So when I went to a doctor, as soon as they looked at my medical chart,
You're flagged.
oh yeah, they're like, we can't be, you can't be our patient. And so I went without medical care for like 3 years.
That's so horrible. That should be illegal in itself.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
should be able to sue for that, you would think.
Right, because everybody should have medical care or access to it at least.
Well, there was a funny part, like when the doctor that actually did the procedure, the angiogram, when I went, I don't know why I didn't go to the ER. I think it was because on the phone they were telling me, don't be a baby, it's going to hurt. I really didn't think there was anything wrong. Even though the leg was white as a ghost, you're in your mind, you don't think nothing's wrong. There's pain, but it's really nothing. You just need to see the doctor and get something to take for it, right? That's what I
Right.
thought.
Right.
And I went in there, and
Just
I finally just drove into his office, and he's like the top vascular guy in our area, and his waiting room was packed. And I walked up to the lady, and I told her, hey, I need to see the doctor. She's like, oh, I'll make you an appointment for like 2 weeks. I go, no, like 2 minutes.
no.
I need to see him like right now. Something's.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain, but she wasn't listening to me, and she wasn't having it at all. It's going to be 2 weeks, or she was like a bulldog, So then I thought, okay, I'm going to be a bulldog too. I'm going to be just as mean as her. And I told her, okay, so if that's how it's going to be, she goes, no, that's how you're being, She goes, you don't have to be like that. I go, well, you don't have to be like that. And she's like, no, it's you. You started it. I go, okay, I'm going to fit.
Oh my gosh.
This is how it's going to go. You're going to see me he's going to see me in 15 minutes. And she's looking at me like, yeah. Or I'm going to be outside jumping on his $80,000 car. And she looked at me. She goes, you don't know what car? I go, I parked right next to it. It has his name on the license plate.
Oh my god.
And she's like, oh. I go, 15 minutes,
Ouch.
So 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The door opens, and in comes the doctor, sticks his head out. He calls my name, and I was thinking, whoa, that got me in there quick,
And the doctor never is the one who calls your name from the door, right?
Yeah,
never.
he called my name. Yeah. Never a doctor. You're right.
Ooh, that's
especially
funny.
a vascular doctor. Those guys they're like egotistical,
Yeah, you gotta have the medical assistant or nurse take you back to the room. Then you gotta wait 20, 30 minutes in there, and then he'll come.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Well, he got me back there. He cussed me out.
Uh-oh.
Like, he started with his car, and I was telling him, I understood because I gave away his kind of car at the casino. I probably gave away 5 of them,
Yeah.
as a promotion. So I totally understand where the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that it would probably get a rise on him, but I didn't know I was going to get cussed out all the way back.
Yeah. And he just got accepted back to being able to get medical treatment too.
Yeah. Well, no, that was like when he didn't know we didn't know. And then he was checking the pulse on my good leg, and he's holding it, and he says, there's a pulse, what's wrong with you? And I told him wrong leg, and he started cussing again, and he grabs the other ankle, and he goes, I think there's a pulse. I go, what did you say, man? Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you think there's a pulse? You think? I go, I'm not going with think. And he started cussing, and he says, well, we need to do a Doppler. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but yeah, but you're not doing it. And he started cussing again,
Yeah.
Gets on the phone, and he's talking to somebody, and then he tells me, all right, he goes, I got a Doppler appointment set up for you. And I go, today. He started cussing. He goes, how's 20 minutes? Can you get to their office in 20 minutes? I'm like, yeah. Okay. So yeah, you get over there, and the dude has this little magic wand, like it's a microphone, but it looked like a magic wand.
Oh, like a probe. I think.
Yeah, it's a Doppler.
Yeah,
it
Doppler
has
probe.
Listens
ultrasound.
to sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to the good leg, and he's like behind my knee with it, and on my ankle, and everywhere he went, it was like boom, boom, boom. He's like looking at me all weird, like, there's a pulse, And finally, he stops, and he's like looking at me, and I tell him, well, it's the other leg. He's like, oh, I was just seeing if the microphone worked,
I was going to say, maybe he was doing it for comparison, but like he should know what a good one sounds like anyway. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I was just checking, to make sure the microphone worked or whatever. I'm like, yeah. But then he gets over there, and everywhere he put it, it was silence. And then I could see in his face that, oh shit,
Oh, this is not good.
Yeah, and it freaked me out.
Yeah,
I mean when you realize over here it was going boom, 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 real loud on them.
Yeah, I mean it's like even if you don't know what that means, You want to hear
know that
sound.
it's supposed to make some sound on this.
Yeah,
Like,
it should be
it
doing
was totally
something.
quiet, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's like, you need to go to the hospital. And he was just the Doppler guy. Okay, he's not even
Right.
a doctor, right?
like a technician.
Yeah. And finally this guy comes in. I mean, he like right away, he goes out, this other guy comes in, he goes, I'm the surgeon, and meet me at the hospital, and I mean leave right now.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. I got to the hospital, walked up to the counter to sign in, and when I said my name, a wheelchair bumped me in the back of the leg, and I turned and looked, and this dude pushed me down into the wheelchair, and away we went.
All
And this
right.
chick was running beside me, and she's got all these papers for me to sign. That's when I found out you sign away your right to sue.
Oh, that's what all those papers are, huh?
Yeah, you're signing your rights away right there.
That is
You know that.
interesting.
Yeah.
And you can't be seen if you don't sign it, probably, right?
Exactly. They'll park you in the hallway, and you'll die over there.
So we can mess you up
Yeah.
and oops, sorry. Maybe not even a sorry.
That's all that doctor said, the one that cussed me out. I went and saw him one more time, and he was like, oops, people make mistakes. And I was thinking, give me your car. Like, dude, you just took my whole life.
Yeah, the least you
And
can do is give me your car,
sell
bro.
my car now. I won't have nothing. I'm gonna lose everything. And I probably make more than you. I probably
right.
did too.
Probably.
I probably was. In fact, I had got hired 2 weeks before that. Steve Wynn, Mr. Vegas, came to our casino, and he was going to invest $2.8 million and build a hotel, do all this stuff. And we went riding around in my car and checking the property out and stuff like that. They assigned me to Steve Wynn because nobody wanted to check it. Nobody wanted to handle him. He was like a handful,
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you do with a billionaire? You know what I mean? They're demanding and mean, and all that.
Yeah, it's like, how can you please them when they already have everything?
I mean, the man owns like 7 casino complexes, right? I mean, the Bellagio, all these really nice casinos. And now if you go, there's Wynn Casino right downtown.
Oh, really?
And that's his casino. He built it for his wife for her birthday.
Lucky girl.
Yeah, so I met him, and we were hanging out all day. And
that's cool.
We were actually sitting in the car, and he tells me, you know what, man? Because he had met with everybody early in the morning. And then all of a sudden my cell phone rings, and they tell me, come to the front of the casino. And then that's when they introduced me to him, said, give him the tour of the whole property.
Wow. That's cool, man.
So I took him up on top of a mountain, and we were looking at the whole property from up there. And we sat up there for a long time talking and drove around.
That's cool.
It was really cool. And when we were driving down, he says, I want you to come to Vegas and meet with me about a job. I go, what kind of job you got in mind? He said, marketing director, or no, president of marketing over 5 casinos. And I told him, man, hey, Mr. Wynn,
that's amazing.
I'm just a little casino compared to what you got,
This ain't Vegas here.
I can't, there ain't no way. And I don't even have a degree or nothing in it. I worked my way up from into the casino, up to the management. I was not, I was not that, I worked my way up.
That's how you get there, man.
Yeah. You just have to be like wanting to work that much harder than everybody else. That's all, just a little bit more, and you'll work your way up.
Yeah.
But that's how I got there. And I told him, I am not qualified at all to be your president of marketing.
I bet you could have done it.
Well, that's what he said. He said, you know what? He goes, I already looked at the financials of your casino. And when I seen what they were making. And then at this one point, like 5 years ago, all of a sudden they started making all this money. And then, I mean, he goes, it was like going up, the line was going up and up and up. He goes, it's still going up. He goes, and when I asked him, what was that? How come, for the first few years, it was like up and down, all of a sudden, whoosh, straight up like that. What was the change?
You were.
It was me that took
Yeah,
that
buddy.
job, right? And putting all the advertisers against each other and
Yeah.
these crazy ideas
Oh,
like
you're-
Totally Tuesday, where everything was in twos. Like
Uh,
at the restaurant, I made it dinner for two for the
that's cool,
price of
man.
one, right? When you walk in the casino, you get 2 keys to the treasure chest. If I called your name from the player club card, you get 2 spins on the wheel for 2 prizes.
Yeah,
If you
so
open up the treasure chest, you get 2 things. I mean, I did all these crazy stuff.
you're a creative guy. You know, you got lots of good ideas and thoughts going on up there.
But I lost all that
Yeah, man.
because
That's
of
such a
RSD.
bummer.
But only he told me, well, if you could do that with the budget you get, he goes, I saw what budget they give you in this casino. He goes, if you could do what you're doing in this little casino way out far away from the city,
Yeah.
just imagine what you could do with a real budget. He goes, man, he says, you could outdo the guy with the master's degree that I got working. And he goes, I'll tell you what, man. He goes, I'll make it good for you. It comes with a house and a red Ferrari, but you have to wear a tux. I'm like,
Hey,
yeah, I could do that.
I could do
And-
that.
And all of a sudden my life got turned upside down, and I
Yeah.
called him and they gave me a power chair, right? The medical, they were like, here's a power chair. You're going to be in a wheelchair forever. And
That's
I
cool
had
they
to
gave you one though.
I had to call him, and I'm due to go see him, and I can't go see him. Not like I have to call him in advance and tell him,
Right.
And when I tell him, he's like, "Oh man, that's a shame." I go, "Yeah, I could do it in a week. I could do it in a power chair, Mr. Wynn. I could do it in a power chair." He's like,
Yeah.
"Not really, you can't." I go, "No, I could. He said,
Yeah.
"No, because," he goes, the guys that I have working for me, they're like you. They're sharks. They'll eat you alive." And he goes, "And if they're looking down on you in a chair," he goes, "you're already at a disadvantage."
That right there, though, man, I can't believe he even told you that, because that is illegal, pretty much. That's straight up discriminating you and telling you to your face you cannot have a job specifically because of your disability. And that's a big no-no. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He should have had a better excuse than that. But this was back in the 80s, you said?
It was 2000.
Oh, this was in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, see,
Yeah, but,
that's...
like after I got hurt, I mean, he hadn't hired me yet either.
Yeah, that's what sucks, because if he had,
If I
you
was
could have
working,
taken him, man.
like when the casino let me go, because I was in a power chair and all that. I mean, they let me go, but it was native casino. And first thing I did was, first I couldn't sue the doctors or nothing, but then I had them on that medical thing. But then all of
Yeah.
a sudden the government called me up one day, these attorneys from the government, and they said, you can't sue a casino, a Native American casino. I'm like, why? Because they're sovereign. And when you go on that land,
Amnesty or something like
when
that.
you go on that land, it's like going in China.
Yeah.
Okay, the laws,
Wow, no
government
kidding.
laws don't pertain. And then I found out like all the laws,
Oh yeah,
they're immune to everything. Like if you go
Yeah.
in there and some 500-pound security guard wrestles a dude and falls on you and breaks your other leg, you can't sue for it.
no.
You can sue in their court, but you're not going to win in their court because they're not going to let you.
Right. And I was gonna say too, because I know that if you get arrested
Yeah.
at a casino, that you have to go through their whole tribunal or whatever. I think.
That's
Like,
right. Yeah.
So.
That's right. And I'm not bagging on that. I'm Native American.
No, but that's interesting
No.
though, because I didn't really ever think about that or knew that. So.
I just
Yeah.
thought it was unfair. I thought they're going to be fair with me. I mean, I
yeah.
put out my whole life for them, and
That's-
then when I'm down, they just kick me to the curb.
That's weak, man.
I mean, they gave me a severance package, but they didn't know me
But-
2 weeks notice or nothing like that. They just called me back there, handed me some checks, and said, "See ya." And I
Wow.
was like, "What? Wait a minute, that's not fair."
That's dirty, man. Even if they gave you a good severance package,
It was
that's
good.
Still dirty, though. you know.
I mean, it allowed me to live for a little while I fought Social Security.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, and that's a whole nother story. Like,
Oh yeah,
this
I'm
is
gonna be
what
doing a
our-
whole episode on Social Security, so maybe I'll have you do a little guest appearance on that one too.
I mean, that judge, when I went to see the Social Security, I mean, I had my doctor after 3 years when I couldn't sue the doctors anymore and I could see a doctor. I mean, I didn't even know what RSD was, and they call it this one vascular surgeon. They sent me to my regular doctor, whatever you call him, general practitioner, whatever.
Right.
He sent me to the vascular surgeon because he had no idea what was wrong with me. And since it was all vascular to start with, he thought that guy might know.
Oh, okay.
So I went over there, and that dude, he called me in, and he was already crying.
Oh.
And I come and sit down, and this dude's crying. And I'm like, man, what is wrong? You know, what? So did his dog die?
Somebody die? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's what I was thinking. And then he started telling me, I got really bad news for you, man. I'm about to give you a sentence, and there's no cure, and it's not going to kill you. Going to wish you're dead. And I was like, what?
Wow. Thanks.
Dude, you
Really?
know, you're
Great
starting to make
introduction.
me cry, man. I mean, I'm starting to tear up just from those words. I mean, getting
Right.
goosebumps saying it, right?
Right, man.
I mean, it was like the worst news. Then when he told me, dude, you have RSD, and he started explaining the history. It used to be causalgia.
Yeah. Causalgia, I think.
They've known about it ever since the Civil War.
Yep. That's when they started figuring out, working on soldiers and experimenting on them.
Yeah, and a lot of them that got tourniquets, where they cut the blood oxygen off for just only like until they surgery them, and in like few hours or something like that. They would get causalgia, what they called causalgia, which was RSD.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew about it ever since then. And then he told me the doctors that did this to you, they knew.
Yeah.
They absolutely knew. And he said they could have started some procedures on you that would have put RSD in remission or even cured it, because if they
minimize it
from 6 months, at the first 6 months, they can actually maybe cure it.
Yeah.
But they have to start treatments right away. Right?
And what's crazy about that is they've known that right there since the Civil War.
Right,
They learned that in the Civil War, that the sooner you treat RSD, the better chances you have of being cured, remission, or minimizing the effects at least. So,
Right.
yeah, excuse me. But yeah, so it's interesting to know we've known about it that long, but still.
Yeah, so he told me, we're at 3.5 years right here.
Yeah, that's a long time to just
There
be
ain't
finding
nothing-
out and treating it.
Yeah, nothing's gonna save you now.
No,
But he
it is
said, I'll
what
make
it
sure
is.
you get Social Security. And then that's when I really didn't even want Social Security. That's when I went and applied. He gave me a letter saying I had RSD. And then I found out that's one of the Social Security things. If you have that, they actually have a law for, where you can get disability for it. And I didn't know that.
like it's on the list of like
Yeah, like
one of the main things they
blindness and-
approve for.
Yeah.
Okay.
But only they when I went inside, I was like, like I said, there was active weightlifting, all this stuff. And I rolled in my little wheelchair thing into the Social Security, and the judge took one look at me and said, denied, bam. I mean, he didn't even open my folder.
What?
And I was like, hey, man, like, you didn't read my folder. I have RSD. And,
you thought you were like,
like I'm most of the time in a wheelchair still.
did he think the chair was like overkill? Like you were trying to like, hey, look at me, I'm so disabled, I'm in a chair. That's
No,
probably what he was thinking. You're trying to play the system, or
He told me, he goes, look at you, man. He goes, you look like you could bench press me.
oh, because of your weight.
He
Yeah.
said, there's nothing wrong with you. Look at you.
Yeah, gotcha.
So then, like, it was 2.5 years now. It took 2.5 years to get in there.
Yep, me too. Actually, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it took another 2.5 years to get in front of the judge again. And
Yeah.
and they said I was going to go in front of him again, and I was kind of sweating it. They make you see the same judge.
Really?
You don't get to go see another judge. And I was actually sweating it like, man, I'm gonna go in front of that dude. Now I'm not as big anymore after 5 years. I've lost some inches, and everything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And,
man.
but I wasn't in a wheelchair no more. I was walking on a cane, and I was gonna walk in there and probably still. And I was thinking, this dude's gonna deny me again, and nobody would hire me. Nobody, absolutely nobody.
Well, and not only that, but like, how good could you really perform a job?
I knew
Could you do a part-time job even? Like
I mean, I let my own self down all the time. I would make plans and then I couldn't do it.
yeah.
Right?
So
I knew that I couldn't like commit to nothing if I can't even commit to myself.
Exactly.
Right. And but when I got in there, I sat down and the judge, it was a lady judge, and I told him I said the first thing I said was, I thought I was supposed to see the same judge. She goes, well, you lucked out today, kinda. Like that. You were hired 6 months ago. I'm like, oh. But only kinda in my hopes are like, the kind of part.
Yeah, right. It's like, well,
yeah, so she's like looking through my file at least. And she's real quiet and we're just sitting there, and they have that job lady next to her, the vocational specialist, and then they have her assistant next to her on the other side that runs and gets the paperwork and does whatever she tells, it's her assistant.
Okay.
And so she says, so finally she looks up at me and she goes, what are you doing here? I'm like,
obvious.
That wasn't on the list of questions, I looked at my attorney, I'm like,
oh,
dude,
are you serious?
You didn't coach me on that one. What am I doing here? I go, well, I didn't even know that. I mean, you gave me a whole list of questions to answer and have my wife read to me, and then I answer so I could act like I
be ready for it.
Yeah, so I could be ready for it. And that wasn't on there. I'm totally bored, right? Like, oh man, what am I doing here? It was obvious I'm here, I'm disabled and I need Social Security because I can't work. Fine, basically that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I have to see a judge to get it. And then she just starts busting up laughing. And I'm thinking, what was so funny about that, man?
Yeah, what?
That isn't even funny to me. and then my attorney says, so what's going on here? He goes, this is the weirdest court thing I ever been in, like that. And I guess they all know each other, right? Go in there every day, 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 times a day, right? So I mean, it isn't like they're strangers.
Yeah, right. So
I'm the only stranger in the whole thing,
Yeah.
And she says, calm down, he got shafted. Basically, he got screwed by the other judge. Oh. She goes, I was looking over his file. He should have got it.
Man.
And I was like, whoa. She goes, I don't see any reason why not to give him Social Security. And then you can see the attorney's like, cha-ching. His whole
There's my check.
Like, that's right. I mean, like you can see it in his face.
I'm getting my 25%.
That's right. Yeah. And then she goes to the vocational chick and says, hey, do you think there's anything, you already read the file. Is there anything he could do? She's like, nope. He's done. There ain't nobody going to hire him, and we can't train him. He's almost 50. He's like 40. It was like 46 or something like that when I went in there. She's like, really? Nope. And so the judge says, you know what? Because you got screwed. She goes, when did you get disabled? She goes, and be careful what you say when you say it. I'm like, I don't know why she warned me that,
That's weird because there's a very specific date on your Social Security form that says your date of disability that you have to write 1,000,000 times when applying for it.
So I told her the exact date.
Yeah.
And she says, well, like when do you, the date on the paperwork says this, she goes, I can't give you, I have to give it to you when you applied back to when you applied.
Oh, right.
5 years ago.
Right.
Then the judge says, you know what? She said, you got done dirty And you probably couldn't sue, right? It's California, you know.
Exactly.
She goes, you pretty much lost everything, right? And I go, yeah. She goes, well, I'm feeling pretty generous today. And she goes, you're totally honest. You have like medical records backing up everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, like vascular surgeons and nerve doctors and all this stuff. MRIs, everything. She said, you have everything you need. There's no reason that judge shouldn't even have had to see you and should have known that you're going to be disabled the rest of your life.
Yeah.
She goes, so what date do you say you were disabled? And I told her like 2.5 years before I applied.
Okay.
And actually, I said July 21st or something like that of 2000, and really it was April 1st.
Right. I remember you saying
2001, July 2001 is when I said I was disabled, because that's when, in my mind, I finally decided I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
right.
mean? I didn't want to admit it at first, so
Right.
so I gave the date of when I decided I was going to be disabled, or I couldn't do it. You know, when I finally gave up and decided I'm going to have to do this. You know, and I wanted to work, but there wasn't no way. You know, and she says, "Okay, that's the date. I set your disability date and the back pay to that date." Bam.
All right.
Then her assistant goes, "You can't do that." And I'm like,
"You're my
what?
assistant. Shut up."
That's exactly what she said. She goes, am I the judge here or what? You know,
yes.
I can do whatever I want to do. She goes, are you going to argue with me on this?
Wow.
And the lady's like, no.
Sorry.
She goes, that's what I thought, like that. She goes, I set the date to July 21st, like that.
Bam.
Yeah, and then I went out.
You know what? She's a judge.
You know? Yeah, that's right.
That's her power.
That's right. That's what she said too. Like, I'm the judge. I say when. And the other lady said, well, you really can't go past the date of them signing up. That's the law. She goes, I'm the judge. I make the law.
Right.
I say when. And if you want to argue with me, you know, I can find another person. You know, I was like, whoa, this chick's a bad mama jamma, man. She gonna get rid of this chick. Like,
I like that judge.
Yeah, and you should. And the vocational lady, she was just sitting there going. Even my attorney his jaw was all dropping. I was like cheering. I want to jump up and start dancing with her. And I'm like, yeah, I like this lady. You know, yeah, it gave me a real decent back pay.
That's cool, man.
The only bad thing about it is, I got it based on, because when I signed up, they base your Social Security, it's SSDI. Okay.
Right.
It's not the welfare, right?
Disability income.
Yeah, it's not welfare. It's not SSI.
Right.
Okay, this one you pay into.
Exactly.
So I paid into it, and I mean, I was making money, so I was paying into it, but because I was only 42 years old, you don't get the full max amount until you're 65 or something like that, right?
Right.
So I got even less than the SSI.
Yeah. That's what I got too, is SSDI, and
I get a supplement of like $70 or something like that from SSI.
Oh, really?
So it makes up for the amount that I don't make, that how much SSI people get.
Right.
So I get the same amount as a SSI person, but most of mine is SSDI. And then I went out with a back pay, and I bought a van and refrigerator, things I needed, you know, I mean, I need to carry my wheelchair and stuff like that. And I bought a wheelchair lift, all this stuff, and paid everybody back, you know, because I was living on nothing.
Right, because the whole time we're just scraping by, man, until we get that
I owed
income.
Like 5 years of rent. And I can't believe my landlady's an angel. I'm still in the same house, man. Right. I mean, she let me get years behind on the rent, which is, you know.
In California too, especially.
Yeah. She never raised the rent. She still hasn't. I've been here like 17 years now.
Man, you're gonna have to give me her name. I might need to move down there.
Yeah. Oh, I want to live over there where you do, on the beach, man. Shit.
I do love it up here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh, I want to live by the beach so bad.
Yeah, well, hey, you ever come up here, man? Hit me up. We'll hang out for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
If you ever come up here, we'll go squatching, man.
Hell yeah.
We'll
Hell
go
yeah.
find some Bigfoots.
I'll bring my drone and we can both take them out.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have some races.
Yeah. Yours would beat mine. I know that.
Probably, yeah. Yours is the littler one, you
The
know.
Spark. Yeah. It got the max I've gotten it was about 36 miles an hour, but that was in the wind too, so the wind was helping me. But it's a fast little guy.
I don't have mine on race, and that's about average, about 38.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just had it out a couple days ago and was flying up and down a river in a city where we get reports of Bigfoot, right in the middle of the city. And
That's crazy.
yeah, it was weird, man. I'm actually gonna go live in a little while and talk about that little trip adventure.
Sweet, man.
A little later.
Depending on when you go on, I might check you out. I gotta do a couple things when the wife gets home here.
Well, I actually go on about 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
Like
Might be around then. I'll have to check it out. I did hit the notification bell on your thing, so I should get an update when you go live, right?
Yeah, same here. I got yours. I got the notification bell on yours, and then I told all my subscribers to come and hit the bell on yours. This is important work you're doing, man. I mean, I'm serious about that.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been to so many doctors that don't know what it is. I mean, they heard of it.
Crazy.
You go to the hospital and the nurses don't even know, I mean, they go, oh yeah, I heard about it in school, but really they don't have a clue.
Right.
And then they start doing stuff to you that you don't do to somebody with RSD.
Right.
And I start pulling
and
back.
It's pointless treatment.
Yeah, it's like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be like that, do not touch me.
Right. Right.
Like, I am not sitting still for this. I'll get up and walk out right now. I'll go to another hospittal.
Exactly.
At least the city has 3 of them, even though everybody doesn't have a clue, It gets pretty sorry,
Yeah, man, it's pretty bad.
Pretty sorry.
Our hospital here locally, it's called Dominican, but it's so bad that the nurses there even, and the doctors and the cops, everybody calls it Death Minican. Because
oh my god,
so many people die there, and there's a lot of junkies in our town. Of course, I mean I know they're everywhere, but our town's just flooded with it, of course. And the hospital, most of the people that go in, they think you're there for drugs. And it's so frustrating. Actually, I saw my doctor yesterday, and his medical assistant. She's a very sweet lady, just very nice and very normal person, right? Doesn't look like anybody who would want to be using drugs. And she told me that she hurt herself and went to go see a doctor at urgent care. And right away the doctor's like, what do you want? What kind of drugs do you want? And she told her, she's like, I just want some type of muscle relaxer because I hurt myself. And she looked at her chart, and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and started backpedaling because her chart shows she doesn't take anything. This lady takes nothing, no drugs. She's clean as a whistle. So, the doctor saw that and was just like, oops, she made a judgment too soon. And that's how they all are nowadays. And it's so frustrating because we're not all drug seekers, man. I'm not saying they're not out there, and I know they are. Yeah, and that actually reminds me of something I wanted to mention that you brought up. Applying for Social Security, right? Why? Okay, I know there's people that go out there that are trying to work the system and get it, but those people, there's no way they can get as many records on file like we have. Like you said, the MRIs, CAT scan, all those different tests, all those different treatments, everything we have on our file when we apply. We've already, within the first year, we've already had so much doctor's appointments and all medical records,
all these different medicines you try.
I need to show that we're disabled at that point. So it makes it weird to me that they want to deny people who truly have the evidence that is irrefutable. How could they deny that? All because there are some people trying to work the system? That's BS.
Because nobody really wants to help you either. They look at you and they go, "There's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
Are you getting better? Like, man,
Yeah.
you've been playing on this card way too long. I mean, look at you. You look fine."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's trade bodies. And I don't
Right.
think I'm going to give yours back. But I mean, I'm going to take off and I'm going to go
keeping
hiking.
it.
Yeah, and you're going to be in bed because I spent most of my, like right now, I'm sitting on my bed. I spend a lot of time on my bed. A lot of people don't know how much time I do. Like probably more, I would say over 75% of my time is on my bed.
Yeah. So you have it set up where you could do all your computer stuff, though, right? Like, you're at your computer right now, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only that, I mean, I had a room, I had a spare room in my house and I had a studio in there.
Yeah.
And I could just walk in and turn everything on. But my daughter and some grandkids, she left her husband and I'm like, I haven't seen my grandkids in 4 years or 5 years or something like that.
Oh, man.
It's like,
yeah.
you can live in my spare room.
You're stoked.
So,
Yeah.
so I moved everything out and I put everything in a little corner over here. And then I even contemplated not setting it up because it's a pain, to set everything all up.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do all that stuff and then tear it all down after an hour. It probably takes longer to set it up and
Yeah.
is to do the whole video thing.
I have this, I do the whole backdrop thing because behind this backdrop is my bed and I have a big window that's facing. So if I don't have this, all that light floods the camera and you can't see me. So yeah, like I can't do much recording at night because my wife will be sleeping right there,
yeah.
But so it's a pretty tight knit corner. Like you could see, I'm touching the backdrop right here. So I don't have much space I'm working with. I've thought about setting up downstairs where I have a big living room and I can use my other camera, but then I'd have to record on my camera, upload and do all that, which I'm going to still do some, remote
Not
videos,
really. You could probably set your camera up to go into your computer and still use it just like right now I'm on a mini cam or whatever you want, a camcorder.
Oh yeah.
I don't have I have a webcam and everything, but I use a camcorder.
Oh, okay.
And then you get it's called an Elgato or something like that, and you plug it in and the computer reads it like a camcorder.
Oh.
And then it's better quality, it has better lighting.
Yeah.
I have a tripod and it's versatile. I could take it out in the field.
Yeah.
And then your video looks more when you do videos. And probably nobody wants to hear this, but if you guys ever want to do a YouTube channel, the videos all will be the same quality, the same look because you're using the same camera.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you go outside or come in or when you're doing the studio thing, it's all the same.
Yeah.
So there's a little tip for YouTubers right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a nice Nikon that I just got
Nice.
about a month ago. I love it, man. It's sweet. So I'm going to be doing some videos out and about too, like I have some ideas of things I want to do. I also have some ideas of like some skits, kind of I want to do that's geared towards this whole disability and RSD thing. I have some really cool ideas I want to do, but it's going to take some work and I need some people to help me with it. But yeah, the camera that I have shoots great quality, man. Way better than this webcam here.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to start using that. It's a DSLR. God, I can't say that. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And we should definitely do it again. Do another one, maybe a part 2. Because
I really didn't get into the RSD part about where I'm at, really. Talk about everything,
Right.
That's what's so fun, really.
It is.
It let people know I'm not dead.
Right.
RSD, but I'm not dead. I'm
That's
still
a good one. I
alive,
like that.
And
I almost thought of doing the name of the channel Life After RSD, but I think someone already took it or I found it somewhere else. I'm like, so. But hey, maybe tomorrow I might have some time to do more. If you're down, we could do part 2 and we could just focus on the RSD part if you want tomorrow. And
I'll text me because I might take my grandkids over to a fish hatchery.
Oh, cool.
Tomorrow, take them
No
out.
worries. If
'em
not
out.
tomorrow, I got time. Probably Friday.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good. I have time nearly every day, so
I hear you. I hear you. But we got other stuff we got to do in life too. So you know, that's cool. No worries,
yeah.
man.
Plus, I want to get you on my channel and introduce you
Yeah.
to everybody and talk about, because I tell everybody about RSD, but I'm the only one they ever heard from.
So it'll be good for them to know more
And
voices.
to see another person that looks like they're normal, healthy, and they're not.
Right.
You know, and
I still got some muscles, you know.
yeah. Well, I'm not so good anymore, man. I'm old.
I know. I was a lot bigger a while back, but you know, I just I try to stay in shape, you know.
Yeah, I tried working out, but only the weight. I want to do heavy weights and stuff, and it makes you twist weird. When you're off balance because one leg's all jacked up, and I know that's how yours is.
Yeah.
You favor it. It makes you not have the right
Well,
poise or whatever you call it. You know.
I don't lift standing up though. I sit on a stool because there's nothing. The stool's real small, so nothing gets in the way, and I just lift on the stool, and that way you can keep your posture upright, and standing up will really mess you up working out that way. So
I mean, standing up and not working out messes me up.
exactly, right? 100%, man.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, it was great talking to you, and let's be in touch, and we'll do a part 2 this week.
Right.
If you're down, I'm down, man.
All my friends that's RSDing and not RSDing, man, we'll see you.
Yeah, all right, brother.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.
You'll have to fight for it. Prepare